Hey, it's Sandra Pike from Roller Page Atlantic and the Pike Group. I am so excited today because I have Dwayne Schofield on, and he is the owner of Urban Butter. And I could honestly say that what he sells is truly a passion for me. So, Dwayne, I'll let you, introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us about your business, what it is that you do.
Sure. So we're a wholesale fashion agency. We do fashion, outdoor, lifestyle, and it's clothing, footwear. As you can see, some footwear behind me, some clothing here. We have a showroom in Dartmouth and Burnside. And the purpose of the showroom is for retailers to come in and they look at all the samples of future seasons. So currently we're in our fall 21 booking season. So we have retailers here right now from different parts of Nova Scotia. There was one in this morning from Annapolis. There's people here right now from Lunenburg, Mahone Bay actually. Suttles and Seawinds is here. We're also, because of the pandemic, we can't have our New Brunswick and PEI customers here. So there's Zoom appointments going on in between. So my wife is doing a Zoom appointment with a customer in Fredericton right now. Naomi was just doing a Zoom appointment with a customer in Edmundston. So, and I was doing one this morning from St. John, New Brunswick. And so we're either in a virtual appointment, like similar to what we're doing, but we're just showing the clothing. Obviously it's not ideal because people love to touch and feel, and that's the kind of the premise of how we do this. And so we set our showroom up like a retail store would be. Everything's merchandised and everything, and so the retailer can get a feel for how the brand will look in their store. We also give them kind of an example of how to present the line as well.
Okay.
And then they can they can touch and feel it and make their orders for their stores.
Awesome. So how long have you been in business now?
This is our 15th year.
Holy cow!
The
I didn't
agency
realize that.
kind of, yeah, we've evolved. Well, okay, Urban Butter has been a company for 15 years. It evolved into this what we are today over time. So in 2008, I formed the company then, and we were doing snowboard events. So we did some snowboard events downtown Halifax. Then we get into concerts. I was doing concerts for Molson and the Mystery Mansion tour. So we were doing events. Then we were doing marketing as well. So we did some campaigns for Nissan, Bell, Alliant, and some kind of like street guerrilla marketing campaigns. And I was a surfer and a snowboarder. So we started distributing surf and snowboard brands. We were distributing wetsuit brand from the US, and that's how we got into this business. And then we took on some brands that were from other distributors, but we would sell them in the Maritimes in Atlantic Canada. And I was still primarily doing skate and surf and snowboard stuff at that time, but I took on this line called Lucy Love. It was a surf culture women's boutique brand, and that was the first one that was kind of in more of a fashion brand. And I was at first selling it to a lot of the surf accounts, but which there isn't a lot of. So I was starving at the time, basically. But I got an appointment, and Sweet Pea, who's downtown Halifax, she had just opened as well, and she bought this line. And working with her and how she bought and how deeply she bought into the line and how professional she was to work with and everything, it really made me stop and think like maybe I should be doing women's clothing instead of doing surf stuff. Because as much as I love the surf stuff and snow stuff, like I could see immediately, sorry, my dog's here, immediately that there potentially could be a lot better business more business in women's clothing. So I called that same distributor. I said, what else do you have? And they said, well, we have this brand called BB Dakota, which I was like, didn't know what it was at the time, but I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, now that brand is, over $1 million for us in sales annually. Then just started taking on, okay, what else? And then the company quickly transformed into pretty much all women's fashion at that time. And the sport stuff started to go away. Then we got Mex, and then we got Canada Goose. And then, it was just, we were doubling in sales each year from basically probably 2010 on. And then, then it was just me originally. Then I Um, Naomi now is probably my longest standing employee. She's been here, I think, 13 years. She does BB Dakota still and Z Supply, which is a brand a lot of people are familiar with right now. That brand is up 200% since the pandemic hit. So it's been, with everyone being more casual, that's been the outfit of home. So she does a lot of the more younger brands, the brands you'd see at Poppy and Olive, a lot of the brands you'd see at Well Lily and Envy and stuff like that. And then I brought my wife on board. She was a dietitian, and the great thing one of the things about this business, we're kind of like farming. We have seasons. So like I mentioned before, we're in the fall 21 booking season right now. It's very busy. We're here every day. We're here from 8:30 in the morning till 8 at night sometimes, doing all these appointments. But then once the booking season's over, then we have a bit of a lull, and we kind of clean everything up and then go into a sample sale and then go back to another selling season. So I had these periods of time where I would have some downtime and want to travel, but her being a dietitian, she had clients she was working with and she couldn't just up and go. So we got to a point in the company that we just felt lifestyle wise, it'd be better if she came over and worked with me instead, because then we would have the same busy periods and the same downtimes and be able to travel. So she's been here probably, I think, 5 or 6 years. My sister's also works here, been here for 7 or 8 years, I think. So yeah, we're all pretty well family here now. My dog's here every day. He's here right now, actually, right here.
I have mine underneath the desk. Oh, look at that!
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So we've moved around a bit. I mean, I got a house in the south end, and like 12, like probably 13 years ago. That it was a townhouse, and the first level had a garage and then a room behind the garage that was, I don't know, like 400 square feet or something. And I naively thought that was going to be my showroom. So I got that house, turned that into my showroom, and then we lived on the 3 floors above. But as quickly as time goes on, we started taking over more and more and more of the house until it got to be like, not really functional, because we had very little space left. Everything was, yeah. So then it became apparent that we needed to have a real showroom. So we took over a space in 1190 Barrington Street, and which is Manny's building there. Like, he's in the top floor, and we took over the bottom space. And then originally took a space, and then we eventually ended up taking over the whole floor, and that was great. But we felt being in Dartmouth would be better for us, because a lot of our customers come in from out of town. And if we're on the Dartmouth side, they wouldn't have to drive into downtown. And we have customers that are here like all day oftentimes. And when we were there, we only had the street parking, they had to be feeding the meter. So here we have a parking lot. So yeah, we've been in this location for, I think, 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, we're in the 7th year.
So the brands that you were carrying, are they all Canadian designers, or would you get?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. We have some that are Canadian brands, some are made in Canada, some are Canadian brands that are made overseas, but we have a number of brands that are out of California, and recently we've transitioned more towards brands from Europe. So like we have probably 4 brands out of Sweden right now, and Denmark, Copenhagen, and yeah, so with the free trade agreement we have with Europe, and so it's just we find that you can offer an excellent value. It's still premium goods, but because it's made in Europe and designed in Europe, it's with the free trade, you're getting what you're paying for more so. You're not buying something that in some cases had, came into the US and duty was dinged on it there, and then it was come to Canada and, double duty and stuff. So, but we still do a number of US, because anything that's made in the US, obviously that has a free trade as well, but there's definitely stuff that's made in Asia. So Turkey, some of the stuff manufactured all over the world, but it's really just, we don't have any philosophy around where the goods come from when we're picking brands. It's more about what is, needed in in the market, and we transition, like we've been much dressier in the past, but that we saw pretty early on that this is even before the pandemic, that we saw in the numbers, like brands that were really dressy were going down like this, brands that were more casual were going like this. And so we were just, as a society, getting more and more casual. Like there was less and less opportunities to dress up, less and less need to dress up. There was a very few professions that even required people dressing up, and as a society, especially here in the Maritimes, we were seeing that. Yeah, in Montreal, there was still people were still dressed up a lot more to go to work, but we were seeing here that it was increasingly getting more and more casual. So we started transitioning the agency more and more casual like a number of years ago. And then when COVID hit and everyone was working from home and there was no events, the dressier brands, they took the biggest hit. And yeah, and casual brands were, so our spring 21 booking season was a record season for us, which doesn't seem normal in the times that we're in. But and I don't think it was because retailers were literally spending more money to buy more clothing. It's just that there was a number of brands where they would normally pick, they'd normally have a budget of 30,000 for this brand, 25,000 for this brand, 40, that they were either greatly reducing or just canceling altogether. So it just left a lot more budget for casual brands, and we were able to just capitalize on that. And like, Z Supply, which, it's up 200% over last year. And that was just, people were spending all this time at home and they wanted to wear casual clothing.
Oh, I'm right there. I mean, I have dresses in my closet that I haven't put on over a year and a half. I'm not even buying shoes.
Yeah, well, that's another, so slippers. This was my, I just finished my slipper booking season for fall 21. It was a record slipper booking season. Yeah, because I've always sold the slippers, but they're slippers that are, well, one of the lines is, they retail at 130 to 160. Yeah. And not that we weren't selling them, but at that price point, we weren't selling a lot of them. But now, all of a sudden, if you're working from home, 99%, a nice premium slipper is work shoe. So it's $150 for a work shoe, So
you know what? I'm guilty. I wear my slippers all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's like you leave the house, you go grocery shopping and do things, but as soon as you come in, the house, like the work clothes come off, or the out goes, you put the slippers on. So we're spending so much more time, and I mean we're home every evening now, and so all of a sudden it's a lot easier to justify buying a nice premium pair of slippers than it used to be.
I like how you put that. That's true. So you talk about you have your focus on women. Do you carry any men's clothes at all? Like
it's increasing. That is something we were in and out of it. Like we did Mex back when Mex was really strong brand. So we did men's and Mex, but like the numbers were always like, for instance, I think we did like 1.2 million in sales a year in the women's side, and we would do like maybe 200,000 in the men's side, so not that there wasn't any money there, it was just drastically. And even with Canada Goose, I mean, it was over 80% of the sales in Canada Goose were women's to men's. So there was money there, just not to the degree. So we have taken on more men's brands in the last year, though. I mean, on our footwear side, we're more 50-50. We're closer in men's footwear to women's, but in clothing we weren't as high. But like this one I'm wearing right now, this is a knit brand out of Sweden, and they're knit in Europe, and it's a premium brand, but I'm doing that on the men's side, and it's gone very well for us.
Oh wow.
So we're definitely looking for
the sizes, would they be the same there as they would be here?
Yeah, this brand is sold in the small, medium, large, extra large. Well, it goes up to double, and it's the sizing the same. Some things in Europe are sized like 38, 30, they use that size scale, like 30, 30, 38, 30, 40, so it's just tagged a little different. And shoes in European shoes are always come in that 30, 40, 39, whatever. Yeah. So you just have to kind of convert that in your head. But if it's a brand that sells in like small, medium, large, then it's just very similar. Like oftentimes they're designing for the North American market anyway, because it is such a big market. They'll that's the small that they have in mind type of thing.
So so here in the Halifax area, which stores are you supplying to right now?
I don't know if there's any we're not really supplying to. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, Semenco and NB's in the studios. Obviously, it's Biscuit, Poppy and Olive. There's a new one opening in the Sunnyside Mall as well, called Sugar Daisy Boutique, and that's going to be a high-end women's boutique. That's opening, I
nice.
think, March or April, so quite soon. Then there's Sweet Pea, obviously. That's a we've done. She was probably one of our very first partnerships that we had. Oh,
Do you
so
supply Suit Yourself?
Suit Yourself, yeah. We
Yeah,
do black tape with Suit Yourself. We do tribal with Suit Yourself.
yeah, I love tribal jeans.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Yeah, no.
tribal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I shop down at Suit Yourself and Samuel Company, and I just love the brands and the lines. And there's a couple of them that I just know my size, and I know they're going to look good, and I know the quality's there. So yeah.
So tribal's been
Um,
40 years, and
oh wow.
it's a Canadian brand, and it's been
Yeah.
around 40 years. They're based in Montreal, so that's
So
an excellent brand for us.
would you be the only supplier then in Atlantic Canada with that brand?
Yeah. So any of the brands that we have, if you're a retailer in Atlantic Canada, then you buy them through us, either physically here at the showroom or
Yeah.
in virtually. But we do and normally we do a combination. Bulk of all of our buys are done here at the showroom. We can offer the best experience here because we have 3,000 square feet. We have room to grid everything and kind of put things, color stories together. So if we have a customer, like to say like Wild Lily, they'll be here for 2 days straight because they do enough brands with us. It takes that long to go through all the different brands. And like Samuelco will be here tomorrow, and they'll be here all day from morning
Wow.
until later, and then there'll be multiple appointments after that. So that's generally how we do most of it. But because some retailers, like they're a one-man show, like one woman show, they're in their stores every day. They can't travel as much for buying. So we do have a mobile showroom where we have two of them actually will go.
Yeah.
It's a bus that's converted into a showroom and has all the lighting, the racking, and so we can put the brands in
Yeah.
there, and go on the road and pull into their store, and they can just leave for a bit, and they'll have someone else on the floor, and they can come out and do their buy
Okay.
right from the van. I mean, so it's definitely it works really well for a lot of people. It's still not the same experience we can give them if they come to the showroom, but some of our brands are 4 seasons. Like we book it like for spring, and then you book it again for summer, and you book it at holiday and in fall. So like in those cases, sometimes the customers, they'll come here and book their spring and falls, but we'll go to them to do the holiday and summer type of thing. So
Oh
Naomi,
wow.
pretty much all of Naomi's brands are 4 seasons. So she's on the road, at least twice to see them, and then oftentimes they're here twice. But I mean, honestly, she's probably on the road like probably 9-10 times a year to do all for trips. And we do a trip, like basically to PEI and then a loop around New Brunswick and back. It's like 1,400 kilometers, I think, and we do it over and over and over and over and over again.
So you're seeing the upcoming trends, definitely more casual, which totally get it.
Yeah.
And the whole slipper thing, I think, is just great. I really wouldn't have thought about that. I mean, I always wore slippers, but even more so now, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you do need a good slipper if you're standing or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
Any other trends that are coming up, you think?
Well, Naomi's probably the best one to talk about on trends because she keeps up a little bit more than the rest of us. But we do have an advantage because we're working with brands for like that are 8 months, and so the stuff that we're working with we see, but we're still in the footwear category. Like it's indoor out, it not only their slippers really strong, but the indoor outdoor slipper, like it's a slipper that you wear in your house, but it has a sole and you can wear it out. So we're seeing that a lot. There's a shoe that's going to be hitting the market here in the Maritimes called the Tulip shoe. It's by this designer from Europe called Ilse Jacobson. She's kind of famous for her rubber boots. She has, really, really premium rubber boots and rainwear. Well, she has a sneaker that's not a sneaker, but it's a kind of a walking shoe. And it's called the Tulip shoe.
Okay.
That's going to be,
Yeah.
we're shipping that to retailers next month as a spring shoe. And it comes in like 50 colors. And most retailers are starting out, they'll have like 3 or 4 colors to start. Just one sec. Can someone do something with the this is, everyone's with a customer right now, so it's hard to. Come here. Yeah.
You gotta have like the doorbell.
Yeah. I'll give him something here to quiet him down a little pacify.
Yeah, mine is passed out, doesn't even know what's happening.
Oh, he gets like that on Friday, but as the week goes on, that's why I bring him here every day, because I want him to get kind of tired. I mean, he's 16 years old, but he is still puppy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have 2 dogs. One dog always goes to work with Ben, and if she doesn't get to leave in the morning, she just loses it. And then the other dog, Daisy, she just stays with me underneath the desk, and we go for peas and walks. But they're just comfortable to have, comfort to have around.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We do enjoy it, but this one's a little high maintenance. My other dog, she passed away 2 years ago. She was here every day, every day. But she was just a little bit better of a showroom dog. She would just go sit on the couch over there and be fine. But he's a little more high maintenance. But
Oh, he's cute. Hard to believe 16.
yeah.
Well, you know what? The Tulip shoe, I definitely got to look that up, because I like my shoes. They're not high heels, so right? They'd be more
walking shoe, more of a comfort shoe. It comes in like 50 colors though. It's a great summer walking the boardwalk shoe.
Nice.
So we're pretty excited. We did really well with it, booking it into. So it's the first time it's going to be actually hitting the stores. So we're really excited to have that hit stores. What else is there? I'm seeing down here. Well, we do so many brands. It's hard to. I mean, in the denim, skinnies are still strong, even though the younger ones have moved away from it. We are still, there's still a lot of skinnies, but straight leg is definitely a silhouette that we're selling more of. And outerwear hasn't changed a lot. It's going to look very similar to what we're used to. Puffer jackets are very strong.
Do you have those teddy bear jackets too, like the big ones?
Yeah, so the teddy bear jacket is one thing that we are seeing is going to slow down. Like we've been the last 3 or 4 seasons, it's been, I think people are starting to get teddy beared out. I don't know about the consumer, but the retailer is starting to get teddy bear jackets a little too much. So they're definitely booking less. They're still in the lines. I mean, in the BB Dakota line, there's probably like 5 or 6 of them in the line, but we're not seeing as many sales in them. But that sometimes, the trend may continue. The retailer just sometimes gets ready to move away from something because they're sick of it, because they've seen it in their store and they've been buying it over and over and over. But sometimes, the consumer still wants it, and so they may miss out on having it. We'll see. But they're still in the line. They're just not as present. Another trend we're seeing though is fleece. It's a really premium fleece, but it's fashion goods made out of fleece. So we think of fleece oftentimes is like, the outdoors clothing like Patagonia and things like that. Well, there's some fleece coming out of Europe that's just crazy soft. And there's a brand called Henrietta Stephenson that she's a designer, and she just works with this fleece, and she's put together a really, really nice collection all of the fleece. And it's so that's been a good one. We're doing well with that. I mean, Dex has always been a strong brand for us. It's very on trend all the time. It's not too trendy forward. It's just kind of right for the time. So
there's another new one that I think I saw. It's like, and you have bigger sizes of it. A lot of black. It's like a heavier material.
The Simply.
Yes. And who's that demographic? Is that for women my age or?
Yeah. So the great thing about, I mean, it just the way it wears, and it's a made in Canada line, so it's not inexpensive because it is made in Canada. So the manufacturing costs are much more, but the fabric doesn't wrinkle. It layers very nicely. it's very flattering. So it's a line that we tend to sell a lot more in like larger sizes oftentimes, just because it is so flattering. The women that are attracted to it are often women that travel a lot. They don't want anything that's going to wrinkle. They can throw in a suitcase and they can take it out and have an evening. And it can be easily dressed up or dressed down too. It can be casual or it can be dressed up a lot. And it's often, bought in layers. And so if someone's interested in that brand, definitely the biggest destination for that would be Suttles and Seawinds in Mahone Bay. They have like a whole walk-in
Oh,
room
wow.
of the store that's all Simply. So yeah, I would say they're probably one of the biggest Simply accounts in Canada.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we should do one of your, the stores that you supply to next, because that'd be really neat just to, see some of the product and, help the local businesses out, right?
Yeah, yeah, because this
Yeah.
is I mean, we're in this really unique time where people are, I think the shopping local thing started originally with kind of around the whole, well, farmers markets, but then the beer thing. I think, the local micro brews really started to turn buying local into the trendy thing to do. I mean, it's to the point where if you're on a deck somewhere, you would almost be embarrassed to be holding a can of like Morrison Canadian or something, because it's like it's almost, the trendy thing to do is you got to be holding a can of the local brewery and your
Absolutely.
and then that started, then distilleries as well, and so really I
Mhm.
think it started filtering out from food, and then premium restaurants are, the ingredients are all local and from 100 kilometers around, the 100-kilometer um, radius around the restaurant. And so it just became the trendy thing to do, to drink local and eat local. And that's really filtered. And we saw the trend happening prior to the pandemic, but the pandemic really solidified that. And especially in rural towns where people weren't wanting to make the trek into the cities, they weren't wanting to go into the malls and things like that. So they wanted to stay in their towns, and they've been supporting their local retailers. And it's now become not only more convenient way to shop, but it's actually the trendy way to shop, is to shop in the small local retailers. And people are realizing like, hey, I can get unique things here, and it's not, it's the pricing is the same. I could drive all the way in the city and go to Winners and spend the same amount I'm buying here. So it's we've seen this massive trend towards retail and people discovering these retailers for the first time, even though they've been in their town forever. But they're definitely all looking for opportunities to get who they are out there, to the public and to the customers. And social media has obviously been a great tool to use to do that. But the more ways we can get the public awareness of that they have these great retailers in their towns, and obviously online shopping has become a big thing. But there's definitely, when it comes to clothing, like nothing really replaces that go and touching and feeling and trying
Mm.
on. Like there's some items that I have no issue buying online, like electronics. If I need a new earbuds or something, I have no problem ordering those, because I know, I know from the stats what I'm ordering. But with clothing, a small doesn't mean anything really. A medium doesn't mean anything, because it's the brand's small, it's the brand's medium. And even when something's measured in inches, like a jean that's a size 28, it doesn't mean that the 28 is going to, you're not going to be a 28 or in every brand. You're going to be a 28 maybe in the brand that but the next brand you might be a 27, you might be a 29. So it's nothing replaces that trying on and the touch and feel. So retail, although online shopping is a thing for sure, and is increasing, it's not going to replace the touch and feel of retail. And people like to buy from, even if people are buying online, they like to do it from a place they have some kind of connection with. And so oftentimes the experience starts when they're shopping in their store. They maybe you're traveling and you come across this wonderful little boutique, and you had this excellent experience there. They love the selection. You discovered a new brand that you never seen, and you had this excellent experience. Well, then maybe you'll want to continue to shop with that retailer once you've gone home via online. But you're not going to necessarily just start shopping with a random retailer online without having had that first experience. So in all brands have now realized that, you know, the model that works is an omni-channel model. You know, you can't be an only online brand. You can't be an only brick and mortar brand. Like, you need to have the offer the online experience, but you also need to have the brick and mortar stores for people to come
Absolutely.
and see what your brand's all about, to touch and feel, and to give that, um, you know, to tell the story, because that's really what's important. I mean, there's lots of clothing brands out there, but we resonate with ones that tell a story that we resonate with, that has values. You know, the brand, you know, especially the young generation, more than anyone, is really looking to align themselves with brands that stand for something, brands that have values, whether that be from an ethical standpoint or environmental standpoint, eco standpoint. And then, like I say, it's just the overall experience that we have when shopping. And then we will go back and support those brands online. But it all kind of oftentimes starts with that in-store experience. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's one thing that boutiques can do better than anyone, because they can pivot quicker because they're smaller. They can make changes. They have that one-on-one, and you know, you get to know someone, that the owner of the boutique. I mean, we see it all the time when they're sitting down to do their buys. You're showing them stuff, and they're visually like seeing actual customers in their head, and they're buying, you know, they're buying stuff for you. You know, they could be like, you know what? Oh, Sandra, she comes in often and she always loves it when we have such and such. And so, you know, and she's a size small. So I'm going to order that, and I'm going to get an extra size small in that because I know Sandra's going to take it. And, you know, that's literally like verbalized in their appointment. So they're not only they're not randomly just picking stuff and hope people buy it. They're thinking of their specific customers and what they like and their sizes, and they're placing those orders. So that's why, you know, it's great to support these local boutiques, because they're buying with you in mind, and they're trying to curate a store that's, you know, you walk in and you're going to love everything. So yeah, so I think the
You're
last year
right.
discovered the retailers in their hometowns more than ever, and in turn that's turned our business into being busier than ever. So yeah.
No, you're so right. Cause I'll call Lori down at Suit Yourself and I'm like, Lori, like, I need a dress. What do you got? Oh, I got this perfect one for you. Or I'll call her and I say, hey, I'm coming down. Can like, she goes, okay, I'll have some clothes picked out for you. So it's so nice to, it really is about the experience, and I believe every word that you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been great. I had no idea you've been in business for 15 years, that you started off surfing. I had no idea. So thanks. It was awesome. Any last comments or anything, Dwayne?
No, like I say, I can't say enough to, you know, support local, because that is, you know, it's not only when you're supporting that local boutique, you're not just, there's so many layers that you're supporting. You're not just supporting that specific boutique owner, which is excellent to do. You're also supporting, you know, the local vendor that they bought from, the, you know, the, like, even the fixtures that they have, that their hangers, their bags, you know, probably come from a store here in Burnside called Cooks, you know, that sells store fixtures, you know. And so, like, there's so many levels and layers of when you support that local retailer. They've also been buying from a local supplier. So there's just many layers that you're supporting by supporting a local retailer, and so many, you know, your dollars. I mean, that's an old, you know, we all, you know, support local, so your dollars stay here. But I think more than ever, this is because so much of our dollars are going to, you know, just a few multinational companies, you know, the Amazons of the world and things like that. And, you know, during the pandemic, they've added multi-zeros to their bottom line. And so this is one thing we can all do to try to, you know, like, and it's not that we have to make any sacrifices. Like I say, you can have a better experience. You can get, you know, excellent quality clothes, not spend more, and be able to touch and feel and try it on and take it home. So it's, you know, so if anyone, you know, I just invite people to get out in their communities, and hopefully this summer most likely we'll just be still sticking local. And there's a lot of great small towns in Nova Scotia that have a lot of really great boutiques, and more all the time. So yeah, I invite you to try them out and